I know that you have all come for a night out at the theatre, and I'm very excited for all of you. But before we begin, I would like to play a bit of music for all of you. I'm a very talented pianist, as you'll see, and I'd love to share it with others, so. I'm starting the first one right now. As I am to have all of you here, I really am quite appreciative. I don't appreciate any of your outfits. There's not an ounce of style amongst you. None of you are dressed like you're going to the theatre. I haven't seen even one evening glove. But I can forgive you. Because I'm a generous man. Lane! 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 My dear Lane. Lane, everyone. Lane is a brilliant dancer, and I find I have the most inspiration when he dances for me. And so I shall have him now dance for all of you. Lane? Lane, I find myself rather parched. Would you be a dear and fetch me some wine?
Yes.
Thank you kindly. In the meantime, I shall play another piece for you. And I'm beginning again! I'm beginning a third time now. Oh God. It gets me really emotional, like a good reason. You must understand. It's because nobody plays like me. I'm sorry for that. For your sake. I don't play accurately. Anyone can play accurately, but I play with a wonderful expression. As far as piano is concerned, sentiment is my forte. I keep science for life.
Yes, sir.
And speaking of the science of life, have you got the cucumber sandwiches cut for Lady Bracknell?
Yes, sir.
By the way, Elaine, I see that in your book. On Thursday, when Lord Shoreman and Mr. Worthing were dining with me, 8 bottles of champagne I entered as having been consumed.
Yes, sir. 8 bottles and a pint.
Why is it at a bachelor's establishment the servants invariably drink the champagne? I ask merely for information.
I attribute it to the superior quality of the wine, sir. I've often observed that in married households the champagne is rarely the first-rate brand.
Good heavens! Is marriage so demoralizing as that?
I believe it is a very pleasant state, sir. I've very little experience of it myself up to the present. I've only been married once. That was a consequence of a misunderstanding between myself and a young person.
I don't know that I'm much interested in your family life, Lane.
No, sir, it's not a very interesting subject. I never think of it myself.
Very natural, I'm sure. That'll do, Lane, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Lane's views on marriage seem somewhat lax, really. If the lower orders don't set us a good example, what on earth is the use of them? They seem, as a class, to have absolutely no sense of moral responsibility.
Mr. Earnest Worthing.
How are you, my dear Ernest? What brings you up to town?
Oh, pleasure, pleasure. What else would bring anyone anywhere? Eating as usual, I see, Algy.
I believe it is customary in good society to take some slight refreshment at 5 o'clock. Where have you been since last Thursday?
Oh, in the country.
And what on earth do you do there?
When one is in town, one amuses oneself. When one is in the country, one amuses other people. It is excessively boring.
And who are the people that you amuse?
Oh! Neighbours.
Got nice neighbours in your part of Shropshire?
Perfectly horrid. Never speak to one of them.
How immensely you must amuse them. By the way, Shropshire is your county, is it not?
Shropshire! Yes, of course. Hello, why all these cups? Why cucumber sandwiches? Why such reckless extravagance in one so young? Who is coming to tea?
Merely Aunt Augusta and Gwendolen.
Oh, perfectly delightful.
Yes, that is all very well, but I'm afraid Aunt Augusta won't quite approve of your being here.
May I ask why?
My dear fellow, the way you flirt with Gwendolen is perfectly disgraceful. It's almost as bad as the way Gwendolen flirts with you.
I am in love with Gwendolen. I have come up to town expressly to propose to her.
Yes. I thought you'd come for pleasure. I call that business.
How utterly unromantic you are.
There's nothing romantic in proposing. It is very romantic to be in love, but there is nothing romantic about a definite proposal. One may be accepted. One usually is, I believe, and then the excitement is all over. The very essence of romance is uncertainty. If I ever get married, I'll certainly try to forget the fact.
I have no doubt about that, dear Algy. The divorce court was specially invented for people whose memories are so curiously constituted.
There's no use speculating on that subject. Divorces are made in heaven. Oh, please don't touch the cucumber sandwiches. They were ordered specially for Aunt Augusta.
Yes, well, you have been eating them all the time.
Well, that is an entirely different matter. She is my aunt. Have some of the bread and butter. The bread and butter is for Gwendolen. Gwendolen is devoted to bread and butter.
And very good bread and butter it is, too.
Well, my dear fellow, I wish you would not eat as if you were going to eat at all. You act as if you are married to her already. You are not married to her already, and I don't think you ever will be.
Why on earth do you say that?
Well, in the first place, girls don't marry the men they flirt with. Girls don't think it right.
Oh, that is nonsense.
It isn't. It's a great truth and accounts for the extraordinary number of bachelors that one sees all over the place. In the second place, I don't give my consent.
Your consent?
My dear fellow, Gwendolen is my first cousin, and before I allow you to marry her, you will have to clear up the whole question of Cecily.
Cecily? What on earth do you mean? What do you mean, Algy, by Cecily? I don't know anyone of the name of Cecily.
Bring me the cigarette case that Mr. Worthing left in the smoking room last time he dined here.
Yes, sir.
Do you mean to say that you have had my cigarette case this whole time? I wish to goodness you would let me know. I've been writing frantic letters to Scotland Yard about it. I was very nearly offering a large reward.
I wish you would offer one. I've been more than usually hard up.
There is no good offering a large reward now that the thing is found.
It's rather mean of you, Ernest. However, it makes no matter. For now that I look at the inscription in the inside, I find that the thing isn't yours after all.
Of course it's mine. You've seen me with it 100 times, and you have no right whatsoever to read what is written inside. It's a very ungentlemanly thing to read a private cigarette case.
No, it is absurd to have a hard and fast rule about what one should read and what one shouldn't. More than half of modern culture depends upon what one shouldn't read.
I'm quite aware of the fact, and I propose to discuss modern culture. It isn't the sort of thing one should talk of in private. I simply want my cigarette case back.
Yes, but it's not your cigarette case. This cigarette case is from someone by the name of Cecily, and you said you didn't know anyone of that name.
Well, if you want to know, Cecily happens to be my aunt.
Your aunt?
Yes, charming old lady she is too, lives at Tunbridge Wells. Just give it back to me, Algy.
But why does she call herself Little Cecily if she is your aunt who lives in Tunbridge Wells? From Little Cecily with her fondest love.
My dear fellow, what on earth is there in that? Someone's a tall, someone's not tall. That is a matter that surely an aunt may be allowed to decide for herself. You seem to think that every aunt should be exactly like yours. That is absurd. For heaven's sake, just give me back my cigarette case.
But why does your aunt call you her uncle? From Little Cecily with her fondest love to her dear Uncle Jack. There is no objection I admit to an aunt being a small aunt, but why not? No matter her size, we call her own nephew her uncle. I can't quite make out. Besides, your name isn't Jack at all, it's Earnest.
It isn't Ernest. It's Jack.
But what? You have always told me it was Earnest. I introduced you to everyone as Earnest. You answer to the name of Ernest. You look as if your name was Ernest. You are the most earnest-looking person I ever saw in my life. It's perfectly absurd you're saying your name isn't Ernest. It's on your cards. Here's one now. Mr. Ernest Worthing, B4, the Albany. I shall keep this as proof your name is Ernest if ever you try to deny it, to me, or to Gwendolyn, or to anyone else.
Well, my name is Ernest in town and Jack in the country. And the cigarette case was given to me in the country.
Yes, but that does not account for the fact that your small Aunt Cecily, who lives at Tunbridge Wells, calls you her dear uncle. Come on, boy, you better have the whole thing out at once.
My dear fellow, you talk exactly as if you were a dentist. It's a very vulgar thing for one to talk like a dentist when one isn't a dentist. It produces a false impression.
That is exactly what dentists always do. Now, go on. I may mention I've always suspected you to be a confirmed and secret Bunburyist, and I'm quite sure of it now.
Bunburyist? What do you mean by Bunburyist?
I'll reveal to you the meaning of that incomparable expression as soon as you are kind enough to tell me why you are Ernest in town and Jack in the country.
Well, produce my cigarette case first.
Here it is. Now, produce your explanation and pray. Make it improbable.
Then, my dear fellow, there's nothing improbable about my explanation at all. In fact, it's perfectly ordinary. Old Mr. Thomas Cardew, who adopted me when I was a little boy, made me in his will guardian to his granddaughter, Miss Cecily Cardew. Cecily, who addresses me as her uncle from motives of respect you could not possibly appreciate, lives at my place in the country under the charge of her admirable governess, Miss Prism.
Where is that place in the country, by the way?
That is nothing to you, dear boy. You are not going to be invited. I may tell you quite candidly the place is not in Shropshire.
I suspected that, my dear fellow. I've bunbured all over Shropshire on 2 separate occasions. Now, go on. Tell me why you are Ernest in town and Jack in the country.
My dear Algy, I don't know whether you will be able to understand my real motives. You are hardly serious enough. when one is placed in the position of guardian, one must adopt a very high moral tone on all subjects. It's one's duty to do so. And as a very high moral tone can hardly be said to conduce very much to either one's health or one's happiness, in order to get up to town, I have always pretended to have a younger brother by the name of Earnest, who lives in Albany and gets into the most dreadful scrapes. That, my dear Algy, is the whole truth, pure and simple.
The truth is rarely pure and never simple. Modern life would be very tedious if it were either, and modern literature would be a complete impossibility.
That wouldn't be at all a bad thing.
Literary criticism is not your forte, my dear fellow. Don't try it. You should leave that to the people who haven't been to university. They do it so well in the daily paper. What you really are is a Bunburyist. I was quite right in saying you are Bunburyist. You are one of the most advanced Bunburyists I know.
Oh, what on earth do you mean?
You have invented a very useful younger brother in order that you may be able to come up to town as often as you like. I have invented an invaluable, permanent invalid called Bunbury in order that I may be able to go down to the country as often as I choose. Bunbury is perfectly invaluable. If it wasn't for Bunbury's extraordinary bad health, for instance, I wouldn't be able to dine with you tonight at Willis's, for I've really been engaged on Augusta for more than a week.
I haven't asked you to dine with me anywhere tonight.
I know. You are absurdly careless about sending out invitations. It's so foolish of you. Nothing annoys people so much as not receiving invitations.
You had much better dine with your Aunt Augusta.
I haven't the smallest intention of doing anything of the kind. To begin with, I dine there on Monday, and once a week is quite enough to dine with one's own relations. In the second place, whenever I do dine there, I'm always treated as a member of the family, and set down with either no woman at all, or two. In the third place, I know perfectly well whom she will place me next to tonight. She will place me next to Mary Farquhar, who always flirts with her own husband across the dinner table. It is not very pleasant. Indeed, it is not even decent, and that sort of thing is enormously on the increase. The amount of women in London who flirt with their own husbands is perfectly scandalous. Oh, it looks so bad. It's simply washing one's clean linens in public. Besides, now that I know you to be a Bunburyist, naturally I want to talk to you about Bunburying. I want to tell you the rules.
I'm not a Bunburyist at all. If Gwendolyn accepts me, I'm going to kill my brother. Yes, indeed, I think I'll kill him in any case. Cecily is becoming a bit too interested in him. It is rather a bore. So I'm going to get rid of Ernest, and I strongly suggest you do the same with with your invalid friend with the absurd name.
Nothing will induce me to part with Bunbury. And if you ever get married, which seems to me extremely problematic, you'll be very glad to know Bunbury. A man who marries without knowing Bunbury has a very tedious time of it.
Oh, that is nonsense. If I marry a charming girl like Gwendolyn, she's the only girl I ever saw in my whole life who I would marry. I certainly wouldn't want to know Bunbury.
Then your wife will. You don't seem to understand that in married life, 3 is company and 2 is none.
That, my dear young friend, is the theory that the corrupt French drama has been propounding for the last 50 years.
Yes, and that the happy English home is proved in half the
Oh,
time.
for heaven's sake, don't try to be cynical. It is perfectly easy to be cynical.
It isn't easy to be anything nowadays. There's such a lot of beastly competition about it. That must be Aunt Augusta. Only relatives or creditors ever ring in that Wagnerian manner. Now, if I get her out of the way for 10 minutes in order that you might have the opportunity of proposing to Gwendolyn, may I dine with you tonight at Willis's?
I suppose so, if you want to.
Yes, but you must be serious about it. I hate people who are not serious about meals. So shallow of them.
Lady Bracknell and Miss Fairfax.
Good afternoon, Algernon. I think you are behaving very well.
Oh, I'm feeling very well, Aunt Augusta.
It's not quite the same thing. In fact, the two things very rarely go together.
My, you're smart.
I am always smart. Am I not, Mr. Worthing?
You're quite perfect, Miss Fairfax.
Oh. I hope I am not that. It would leave no room for developments. And I intend to develop
Aunt Augusta.
Won't you come and sit over here, Gwendolyn?
Thanks, Mama. I'm quite comfortable where I am.
Good heavens! Lane! Why are there no cucumber sandwiches? I ordered them specially.
There were no cucumbers in the market this morning, sir. I went down twice.
No. Cucumbers.
No, sir. Not even for ready money.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I'm greatly distressed, Aunt Augusta, at there being no cucumbers. Not even for ready money.
It really makes no matter, Algernon. I had some crumpets with Lady Harbury, who seems to me to be living entirely for pleasure now.
I hear her hair is turned quite gold from grief.
It certainly has changed its colour. From what cause, I, of course, cannot say. Oh, thank you. I've quite a treat for you tonight, Algernon. I'm going to send you down with Mary Farquhar. She's such a nice woman and so attentive to her husband. Oh, it's delightful to watch them.
I'm afraid, Aunt Augusta, I shall have to give up the pleasure of dining with you tonight, after all.
I hope not, Algernon. It would put my table completely out. Your uncle would have to dine upstairs. Fortunately, he is accustomed to that.
It is a great bore, and I need hardly say a terrible disappointment to me. The fact is, I have just received a telegram to say that my poor friend, Bunbury, is terribly ill again, and they seem to think that I should be with him.
It is very strange. This Mr. Bunbury seems to suffer from curiously bad health.
Yes, poor Mr. Bunbury is a dreadful invalid.
Well, I must say, Algernon, that I think it is high time Mr. Bunbury made up his mind whether he was going to live or to die. This shilly-shallying with the question is absurd, nor do I in any way approve of the modern sympathy with invalids. I consider it morbid. Illness of any kind is hardly a thing to be encouraged in others. Health is the primary duty of life. I am always telling that to your poor uncle, but he never seems to take much notice, as far as any improvement of his ailment goes. I should be much obliged if you would ask Mr. Bunbury from me to be kind enough to not have a relapse on Saturday, for I rely on you to arrange my music for me. It is my last reception, and one wants something that will encourage conversation. Yes, particularly at the end of the season, when everyone has practically said whatever they've had to say, which in most cases is probably not much.
I'll talk to Bunbury, Aunt Augusta, if he is still conscious. But I think I can promise that he'll be all right by Saturday. Now, the question of the music is a great difficulty. If one plays good music, people don't listen. If one plays bad music, people don't talk. But I'll run over the program I've drawn out if you will kindly step in the next room with me for a moment.
Thank you, Algernon. It is very thoughtful of you. I'm sure the program will be delightful. After a few expurgations. French songs I cannot possibly allow. People always seem to think that they are improper and either look shocked, which is vulgar, or laugh, which is worse. But German sounds a thoroughly respectable language, and indeed I believe is so. Gwendolyn, you will accompany me.
Certainly, Mama.
Charming day it has been, Miss Fairfax.
Pray, don't talk to me about the weather, Mr. Worthing. Whenever people talk to me about the weather, I always feel quite certain that they mean something else. And that makes me so nervous.
I do mean something else.
I thought so. In fact, I am never wrong.
And I would like to be allowed to take advantage of Lady Bracknell's temporary absence.
I would certainly advise you to do so. Mamma has a way of coming back suddenly into a room that I have often had to speak to her about.
Gwendolyn, ever since I met you, I have admired you more than any girl I've ever met since I met you.
Yes, I am quite well aware of the fact, and I often wish that in public, at any rate, you had been more demonstrative. For me, you have always had an irresistible fascination. Even before I met you, I was far from indifferent to you. We live, as I hope you know, Mr. Worthing, in an age of ideals. The fact is constantly mentioned in the more expensive monthly magazines, and has reached the provincial pulpits, I am told. And my ideal has always been to love someone of the name Earnest. There is something in that name that inspires absolute confidence. The moment Algernon first mentioned to me that he had a friend called Earnest, I knew I was destined to love you.
You really love me, Gwendolyn?
Passionately.
Oh, darling, you don't know how happy you've made me.
My own Earnest.
But you don't mean to say that you couldn't love me if my name wasn't Earnest?
But your name is Earnest.
Yes, I know it is, but supposing it was something else. Do you mean to say that you couldn't love me then?
That is clearly a metaphysical speculation. And like most metaphysical speculations, has very little reference at all to the actual facts of real life as we know them.
To speak quite candidly, darling, I don't much care about the name Earnest. I don't think it suits me at all.
It suits you perfectly! It is a divine name! It has a music of its own! It produces vibrations.
Well, really, Gwendolyn, I think there are lots of other much nicer names. I think Jack, for instance, to be a charming name.
Jack! No! There is very little music in the name Jack. If any at all, indeed. It does not thrill. It produces absolutely no vibrations. I have known several Jacks, and they all, without exception, were more than usually plain. Besides, Jack is a notorious domesticity for John, and I pity any woman who is married to a man called John. She would probably never be allowed to know the entrancing pleasures of a single moment's solitude. The only really safe name is Earnest.
Gwendolyn, I must get christened at once. Oh, I mean, we must get married at once. There is no time to be lost.
Married Mr. Worthing.
Well, surely. You know that I love you, and you had led me to believe, Miss Fairfax, that you were not absolutely indifferent to me.
I adore you, but you haven't proposed to me yet. Nothing at all has been said about marriage. The subject has not even been touched on.
Well, may I propose to you now?
I think it would be an admirable opportunity. And to spare any possible disappointment, Mr. Worthing, I think it only fair to tell you quite frankly beforehand that I am fully determined to accept you.
Gwendolyn!
Yes, Mr. Worthing? What have you got to say to me?
You know what I've got to say to you.
Yes, but you don't say it.
Gwendolyn, will you marry me?
Of course I will, darling. How long you have been about it. I'm afraid you have had very little experience in how to propose.
But for my own one, I have never loved anyone in the world but you.
Yes. But men often propose for practice. I know my brother Gerald does. All my girlfriends tell me so. What wonderfully blue eyes
Gwendolyn! The carriage!
Yes, Mamma.
You can take a seat, Mr. Worthing.
Thank you, Lady Bracknell. I prefer standing.
I feel bound to tell you that you are not down on my list of eligible young men, although I have the same list as the dear Duchess of Bolton has. We went together, in fact. However, I feel quite ready to enter your name, should your answers be what a really affectionate mother requires. Do you smoke?
Well, I must admit, Lady Bracknell, that I do smoke.
I'm glad to hear it. A man should always have an occupation of some kind. There are far too many idle men in London as it is. How old are you?
Oh, 29.
Oh, a very good age to be married at. I have always been of the opinion that a man who desires to get married should either know everything or nothing. Which do you know?
I know nothing, Lady Bracknell.
I am pleased to hear it. I do not approve of anything that tampers with natural ignorance. Ignorance is like a delicate exotic fruit. Touch it, and the bloom is gone. The whole theory of modern education is radically unsound. Fortunately, in England, at any rate, education produces no effects whatsoever. If it did, it would probably prove to be a serious danger to the upper classes. It lead to acts of violence in Grosvenor Square. What is your income?
Between 7,000 and 8,000 a year.
In land or in investment?
In investment, chiefly.
That is satisfactory. What between the duties expected of one during one's lifetime and the duties exacted from one after one's death, land has ceased to be either a profit or a pleasure. It gives one position and prevents one from keeping it up. That is all that can be said about land.
I do have a country home with some land, of course, attached to it about 1,500 acres, I believe, but I don't depend on it for my real income. In fact, as far as I can make out, the poachers are the only people who make anything out of it.
A country house. How many bedrooms? Well, that point can be cleared up afterwards. You have a townhouse, I hope. A girl with a simple, unspoiled nature like Gwendolyn's could hardly be expected to reside in the country.
I do own a home in Belgrade as well. However, it is let by the year to Lady Blossom. I can get it back whenever I want, of course, at 6 months' notice.
Lady Blossom, I don't know her.
Oh, she knows about very little. She's a lady considerably advanced in years.
Well, nowadays that is no guarantee of respectability of character. What number in Belgrave Square?
149.
The unfashionable side. I thought there was something. However, that could easily be altered.
Do you mean the fashion or the size?
Both, if necessary, I presume. What's your politics?
I'm afraid I really have none. I'm a liberal unionist.
They count as Tories. They dine with us, or come in the evening at any rate. Now, to minor matters. Are your parents living?
I have lost both my parents.
To lose one parent, Mr. Worthing, may be regarded as a misfortune. To lose both looks like carelessness. Who was your father? He was evidently a man of some wealth. Was he born in what the radical papers call the battle of commerce? Or did he rise from the ranks of the aristocracy?
I'm afraid, Lady Bracknell, I really don't know. The fact is, I told you I lost my parents. It would be nearer the truth to say that my parents seem to have lost me. I don't really know who I am by birth. I was found.
Found?
The late Mr. Thomas Cardew, an old gentleman of a very charitable and kindly disposition, found me and gave me the name Worthing, because he happened to have a first-class ticket of Worthing in his pocket at the time. Worthing is a place in Sussex. It is a seaside resort.
Where did this charitable gentleman with a first-class ticket for this seaside resort find you?
In the handbag?
A handbag!
Yes, Lady Bracknell, a handbag. A somewhat large, black, leather handbag with handles to it. A perfectly ordinary handbag.
In what locality did this Mr. James or Thomas Cardew come across this ordinary handbag?
In the cloakroom at Victoria Station. It was given to him in mistake for his own.
The cloakroom at Victoria Station?
Yes. The Brighton
The line is immaterial! Mr. Worthing, I confess I feel somewhat bewildered by what you have just told me. To be born, or at any rate, bred in a handbag, whether it has handles or not, seems to me to show a contempt for the ordinary decencies of family life that reminds one of the worst excesses of the French Revolution. And I presume you know what that unfortunate movement led to? As for the particular locality in which the handbag was found, a cloakroom at a railway station might serve to conceal a social indiscretion. Has probably indeed been used for that purpose before now, but it could hardly be regarded as an assured basis for a recognized position in good society.
May I ask then what you would advise me do, Lady Bracknell? I need hardly say that I would be willing to do anything in the world to ensure Gwendolyn's happiness.
I would strongly advise you, Mr. Worthing, to try and acquire some relations as soon as possible, and make a definite effort to produce, at any rate, one parent of either sex before the season is quite over.
I don't see how I could possibly manage that. I can produce the handbag at any moment. It's in my dressing room back at home. I really think that should satisfy you, Lady Bracknell.
Me, sir? What has it to do with me? You can hardly imagine that I and Lord Bracknell would dream of allowing our only daughter, a girl brought up with the utmost care, to marry into a cloakroom and form an alliance with a parcel. Good morning, Mr. Worthing.
Good morning! Oh, don't play the ghastly tune, Algy! How idiotic you are!
Didn't it go off all right, old boy? You don't mean to say that Gwendolyn refused you? It is a way she has. She's always refusing people. I think it is most ill-natured of her.
No, Gwendolyn is as bright as a trivet. As far as she is concerned, we are engaged. Her mother is perfectly unbearable. I've never met such a gorgon! I don't really know what a gorgon is like, but I'm quite certain that Lady Bracknell is one. In any case, she is a monster without being a myth, which hardly seems fair. I beg your pardon, Algy. I suppose I shouldn't be talking about your own aunt in that way before you.
My dear boy, I love hearing my relations abused. It is the only thing that makes me put up with them at all. Relations are simply a tedious pack of people without the remotest knowledge of how to live, nor the slightest instinct about when to die.
Oh, that is nonsense.
It isn't.
Well, I won't argue with you about the matter. You always want to argue about things.
That is exactly what things were originally made for.
Upon my word, if I thought that, I'd shoot myself. You don't think there's any chance of Gwendolyn becoming anything like her mother in about 150 years, do you?
All women become like their mothers. That's their great tragedy. No man does, and that's his. Is that clever? It's perfectly phrased. Quite as true as any observation in civilized life should be.
Oh, I'm sick to death of cleverness. Everybody's clever nowadays. You can't go anywhere without meeting clever people. The thing has become an absolute public nuisance. I wish to goodness we had some fools left.
We have.
I'd extremely like to meet them. What will they talk about?
The fools? About the clever people, of course.
Oh, what fools!
By the way, have you told Gwendolyn the truth about your being Ernest in town and Jack in the country?
Oh, the truth isn't quite the sort of thing one tells to a nice, sweet, refined girl. What extraordinary ideas you have about the way to behave to a woman.
The only way to behave to a woman is to make love to her if she is pretty, and to someone else if she is plain.
Oh, that is nonsense.
What about your brother? What about the profligate Earnest?
Oh, by the end of the week I will have gotten rid of him. I'll say he died in Paris of apoplexy. Lots of people die quite suddenly of apoplexy, don't they?
Yes, my dear fellow, but it's hereditary. The kind of thing that runs in families. You would much better say a severe chill.
And you're certain a severe chill isn't hereditary or anything of the kind?
Of course it's not.
Very well then. My poor brother Ernest carried off suddenly in Paris by a severe chill. That gets rid of him.
But I thought you said that Miss Cardew was a little too much interested in your poor brother. Won't you feel his loss a good deal?
Oh, that's all right. Cecily is not a silly romantic girl, I'm glad to say. She has a capital appetite, goes long walks and pays no attention to her lessons.
I should rather like to see Cecily.
I will take very good care you never do. She's excessively pretty and only just 18.
Does Gwendolyn know that you have an excessively pretty ward who is only just 18?
Oh, one doesn't blurt these things out to people. Gwendolyn and Cecily are perfectly certain to become extremely great friends. Why, I'll bet you anything that you like that half an hour after they have met, they'll be calling each other sister.
Women only do that when they've called each other a lot of other things first. Now, if we want to get a table at Wilson's, we must go and dress. Did you know that it is nearly 7?
Oh, it's always nearly 7.
Well, I'm hungry.
I never knew you when you weren't.
What shall we do after dinner? Go to the theatre?
Oh, no, I loathe listening.
Then let us go to the club.
No, I hate talking.
Then we might trot around the Empire at 10.
No, I can't bear looking at things. It's so silly. Then what shall we do? Nothing.
It's awfully hard work doing nothing. But I don't mind hard work where there's no object to be had of any kind.
Miss Fairfax.
Ah, Gwendolyn, upon my word.
Algy, kindly turn your back. I have something very particular to say to Mr. Worthing.
Oh, really, Gwendolyn, I don't think I can allow this at all.
Algy, you always adopt a strictly immoral attitude towards life. You are not quite old enough to do that.
Gwendolyn, darling!
Ernest, we may never be married. From the expression on Mamma's face, I fear we never shall. Few parents nowadays pay any regard to what their children say to them. The old-fashioned respect for the young is first dying out. Whatever influence I ever had over Mamma, I lost at the age of 3. But although she may prevent us from becoming man and wife, and I may marry someone else and marry often, nothing that she can Mamma with unpleasing comments has naturally stirred the deeper fibers of my nature. Your Christian name is so intriguing, and the simplicity of your character makes you exquisitely incomprehensible to me. Your town address is the Albany I have. What is your address in the country?
The Manor House, Woolton, Hertfordshire.
There is a good postal service, I suppose. It may be necessary to do something desperate. That, of course, will require serious consideration.
My own darling.
How long do you remain in town?
Till Monday.
Good. Algie, you may turn round now.
Thanks. I've turned round already.
You will let me see you to your carriage?
Certainly.
I will see Miss Fairfax out.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, lady. Well, no. Not this time. Not getting my money. A glass of sherry, Lane.
Yes, sir.
Tomorrow, Lane, I'm going Bunbury.
Yes, sir.
I shall not be back till Monday, so you could put up my dress clothes, my smoking jacket, and all the Bunbury.
Yes, sir.
I hope it shall be a fine day, Lane.
Oh, it never is, sir.
Lane, you're a perfect pessimist.
I do my best to give satisfactions.
Oh, now there is a sensible, intellectual girl. The only girl I ever cared for in my whole life. Someone use that.
I'm just a little anxious for my poor friend Bunbury.
That is all. If you don't take care, your friend Bunbury is going to get you into a serious scrape someday.
Oh, I love scraps. They are the only things that are never serious.
Oh, that is nonsense. You never speak anything but nonsense.
Nobody ever does.
If I don't write them down, I should probably forget all about them.
Memory, my dear Cecily, is the diary we all carry about with us.
Yes, but it usually chronicles things that haven't happened, or couldn't possibly have happened. I believe memory is responsible for nearly all the 3-volume novels Moody sends us.
Do not speak slantingly of the 3-volume novel, Cecily. I wrote them myself in earlier days.
Did you really, Miss Prism? How wonderfully clever you are. I hope it did not end happily. I don't like novels that end happily. They depress me so much.
The good ended happily and the bad unhappily. That is what fiction means.
I suppose so. But it seems rather unfair. When was your novel ever published?
Alas, no. The manuscript unfortunately was abandoned. I use the word in the sense of lost or mislaid. To your work, child. These speculations are profitless.
But I see dear Dr. Chasuble coming up through the garden.
Dr. Chasuble, this is indeed a pleasure.
And how are we this morning, Miss Prism? You are, I trust, well?
Miss Prism has just been complaining of a slight headache. I think it would do her so much good to go for a short stroll with you in the park, Dr. Chasuble.
Cecily, I have not mentioned anything about a headache.
Oh, I know that, dear Miss Prism. I felt instinctively that you had one. Indeed, I was thinking about that and not about my German lesson when the rector came in.
I hope, Cecil, you are not inattentive.
Oh, I'm afraid I am.
Ah, that is strange. Were I fortunate enough to be Miss Prism's pupil, I would hang upon her lips. I spoke about my back was drawn from the bees. Mr. Redding, I suppose, has not returned from town yet.
We do not expect him back till Monday afternoon.
Ah, yes, he usually likes to spend his Sundays in London. He's not one whose sole aim is enjoyment, as by all accounts that unfortunate young man, his brother, seems to be. But I must not disturb Egeria and her people any longer.
Egeria? My name is Letitia, Doctor.
Ah, classical allusion merely drawn from the pagan operas. I shall see you both, no doubt, at Evensong.
I think, perhaps, dear Doctor, I will have a stroll with you. I find I have a headache after all, and a walk might do it good.
With pleasure, Miss Prism, with pleasure. Maybe go as far as the schools and back.
That would be delightful.
Ah.
Cecily, you will read your political economy in my absence. And the chapter on the fall of the rupee you may omit. It is so much too sensational. Even these metallic problems have their melodramatic side.
Horrid political economy, horrid geology, horrid German!
Mr. Ernest Worthing has just driven over from the station. He has brought his luggage with him.
Mr. Ernest Worthing, B4 the Albany W. Uncle Jack's brother. Did you tell him Uncle Jack was in town?
Yes, miss. He seemed very much disappointed. I mentioned that you and Miss Prism were in the garden. He said he was anxious to speak to you privately for a moment.
Tell Mr. Ernest Worthing to come here. And I suppose you had better talk to the housekeeper about a room for him?
Yes, miss.
Mr. Ernest Worthing. I've never met any really wicked person before. I'm rather frightened. Oh, I'm so afraid he will look just as everyone else does. He does.
You are my little cousin Cecily, I'm sure.
You must be under some misconception, for I'm not little. In fact, I believe I'm more than usually tall for my age. But I am your cousin Cecily. You, I see from your card, are Uncle Jack's brother. My cousin Ernest, my wicked cousin Ernest.
I am not really wicked, Cecily. You mustn't think that I'm wicked.
If you are not, then you have certainly been deceiving us all in a very inexcusable manner. I hope you have not been leading a double life, pretending to be wicked and being really good all the time. That would be hypocrisy.
Oh, I suppose I have been rather reckless.
I'm glad to hear it.
In fact, now that you mention the subject, I've been very bad in my own small way.
I don't think you should be so proud of that. Though I'm sure it must have been very pleasant.
It is much pleasanter being here with you.
I can't understand how you're here at all. Uncle Jack will be back till Monday afternoon.
It is a great disappointment, but I'm obliged to be up by the first train on Monday. I have a business appointment that I am anxious to
Miss.
Couldn't you miss it anywhere but in London?
No. The appointment is in London.
Oh. Well, I of course know how important it is not to keep a business engagement if one wants to retain any sense of the beauty of life. But I still think you had better wait until Uncle Jack arrives. I know he wants to speak with you about your emigrating.
About my what?
Your emigrating. He's gone up to buy your outfit.
I certainly wouldn't let Jack buy my outfit. He has no taste in neckties at all.
Oh, I don't think you'll require neckties. Uncle Jack is sending you to Australia.
Australia! I'd sooner die!
Well, at dinner Wednesday night, Uncle Jack said you had better choose between this world, the next world, and Australia.
Well, the accounts I've received of Australia and next world are not particularly encouraging. This world is good enough for me, Cousin Cecily.
Yes, but are you good enough for it?
I'm afraid I'm not that, which is why I want you to reform me. You might make that your mission, Cousin Cecily.
I'm afraid I've no time this afternoon.
Then you wouldn't mind me reforming myself this afternoon?
That's rather quixotic of you. I think you should try.
I will. I feel better already.
You're looking a little worse.
That is because I'm hungry.
How thoughtless of me. I nearly forgot that when one is going to lead an entirely new life, one requires regular, wholesome meals. Won't you come in?
Thank you. Might I have a buttonhole first, though? I really never have any appetite unless I have a buttonhole first.
A marchenier?
I'd much sooner have a pink rose.
Why?
Because you are like a pink rose, Cousin Cecily.
I don't think it could be right for you to talk to me like that. Miss Prism never says such things to me.
Then Miss Prism is a short-sighted old lady. You are the prettiest girl I ever saw in my life.
Miss Prism says all good looks are a snare.
They are a snare. Every sensible man should like to be caught in.
I don't think I should like to catch a sensible man. I wouldn't know what to talk to him about.
What's more to know, dear Dr. Chasuble? You should get married. A misanthrope I can understand, a woman-thrope never.
Believe me, I do not deserve so neologistic a phrase. The precept as well as the practice of the primitive church was distinctly against matrimony.
That is obviously the reason why the primitive church has not lasted up until the present day. And you do not seem to realize, dear doctor, that by persistently remaining single, a man converts himself into a permanent public temptation. Men should be more careful. This very celibacy leads weaker vessels astray.
But is a man not equally attractive when married?
No married man is ever attractive except to his wife.
And often I'm told, not even to her.
That depends on the intellectual sympathies of the woman. Maturity can be depended upon. Ripeness can be trusted.
Yes.
Young women are green.
Oh,
I spoke horticulturally. My metaphor was drawn from fruits. But where is Cecily?
Perhaps she follows to the schools.
Mr. Worthing.
Mr. Worthing!
This is indeed a surprise. We did not look for you till Monday afternoon.
I returned sooner than I expected. Dr. Chasuble, I hope you are doing well.
My dear Mr. Worthing, I trust this scarborough does not contend with some terrible calamity.
My brother.
More shameful debts and extravagance.
Still leading his life of pleasure. Dead! Your brother Ernest dead?
Quite dead.
Oh.
What a lesson for him. I trust he will profit by it.
Mr. Worthing, you have my sincere condolences. You have at least the consolation of knowing you're always the most generous and forgiving of brothers.
Oh, boy! He had many faults, but it is a sad, sad blow.
Very sad indeed. Well, were you with him at the end?
No, he died abroad. Paris, in fact.
Oh.
I received a telegram this afternoon from the manager of the Grand Hotel.
Was the cause of death mentioned?
A severe chill, it seems.
Oh.
A man so let him breathe.
Charity, dear Miss Prism, charity. None of us are perfect. I myself am peculiarly susceptible to drugs. Will the internment take place here?
No! It seems to have expressed the desire to be buried in Paris. No!
In Paris? slight allusion to this tragic domestic affliction next Sunday. My sermon on the meaning of the man in the wilderness is adaptable to almost any occasion, joyful, or in the present case, distressing. I have preached it at harvest celebrations, christenings, confirmations, on days of humiliation, and festive days. Last I preached it was at the cathedral as a charity sermon on behalf of the Society for the Prevention of Discontent among the Upper Waters. The bishop who was present was much struck by some of the allusions I drew.
That reminds me. You mentioned christenings, I think, Dr. Choswell?
Yeah.
I suppose you know how to christen, all right. I mean, you are continually christening, aren't you?
Yes.
It is, I regret to say, one of the rector's most constant duties in this parish. I've often spoken to the poorer classes on the subject, but they do not seem to know what thrift is.
But is there any particular infant in whom you are interested? Your brother, I believe, was unmarried, was he not?
Oh, yes.
People who live entirely for pleasure usually are.
But it is not for any child, dear doctor. I'm very fond of children. No, the fact is, I would like to be christened myself. This afternoon, if you've got nothing better to do.
But certainly, Mr. Worthing, you've already been christened.
I certainly don't remember it.
But have you any grave doubts on the subject?
I'd certainly intend to have. Of course, I don't know if it would bother you in any way, or if you think maybe I'm a little too old now.
Not at all. The sprinkling and indeed the immersion of adults is perfectly canonical practice.
Immersion?
Oh, you need have no apprehension, sir. Sprinkling is all that I believe is necessary, or I think indeed advisable. However, it is so changeable. At what time would you wish the ceremonies be performed?
Oh, I might trot around by 5 if that would suit you.
Perfectly. In fact, I have 2 similar ceremonies to perform at that time. A case of twins that occurred recently in an outlying cottage of your estate. Poor Jenkins, the carter, the most hard-working of men.
I don't see much fun in being christened with other babies. It seems rather childish. Would 5:30 do?
Admirably. And now, Mr. Worthing, I must no longer intrude into a house of sorrow. I would merely beg you to not be too bowed down by grief. What seem to us bitter trials are often blessings in disguise.
This seems to me a blessing of an extremely obvious kind.
Oh, Jack, I'm so pleased to see you back. But what horrid clothes you've got on. Do go and change them.
My child!
Uncle Jack, you look happy. You look as if you'd had a toothache. Oh, and I have such a surprise for you. Who do you think is in the dining room? Your brother?
Who?
Your brother Ernest. He arrived about half an hour ago.
What nonsense! I don't have a brother.
Uncle Jack, don't say such things. However badly he may have behaved to you in the past, he is still your brother. You couldn't be so heartless as to disown him. I'll tell him to come out now, and you will shake hands with him, Uncle Jack, won't you?
These are very joyful tidings.
After we had all been resigned to his loss, his sudden return seems to me peculiarly distressing.
My brother is in the dining room. I'm not quite sure what it all means. It seems to me to be perfectly absurd. Oh, good heavens!
Brother John, I've come up from town to tell you that I'm very sorry for all the trouble that I've caused you, and I intend to lead a better life in the future.
Uncle Jack, you cannot refuse your own brother's hand.
Nothing will induce me to take his hand. I think his coming down here is disgraceful. He knows perfectly well why.
Uncle Jack, do be nice. I think there is some good in everybody. Ernest has just been telling me about his poor invalid friend, Mr. Bunbury, who he goes to visit so often. Then surely there must be much good in one who is kind to an invalid and leaves the pleasures of London to sit beside a bed of pain.
He's been talking to you about Bunbury, has he?
Yes, he's told me all about poor Mr. Bunbury and his terrible state of health.
Bunbury, well, I won't have him talking to you about Bunbury or anything else. It's enough to drive one perfectly frantic.
I admit, the faults were all on my side, but oh, I must say, I find Brother John's coldness to me peculiar and painful. I mean, I expected a more enthusiastic welcome. Especially considering it's my first time having come here.
Uncle Jack, if you don't shake your brother's hand, I will never forgive you.
Never forgive me?
Never, never, never. Is there something wrong with your hand?
Something wrong with my hand. It's very difficult. Oh! Well, this is the last time I shall ever do it.
Oh, it is pleasant, is it not, to see so perfect a reconciliation? I think we may leave the two brothers together.
Cecily, you will come with us.
Certainly, Miss Prism. My little task of reconciliation is quite over.
You have done a beautiful action today, dear child.
You must not be premature in our judgments.
Oh, well, I feel very happy.
Algie, you young scoundrel! You had better get out of this place as soon as possible. I don't allow anyone wearing here.
I have put Mr. Earnest's things in the room next to yours, sir. I suppose that is all right. What? Mr. Earnest's luggage, sir. I've unpacked it and put it in the room next to your own.
What's the name? His luggage?
Yes, sir. 3 portmanteaus, a dressing case, 2 hat boxes, and a large luncheon basket.
I'm afraid I can't stay for more than a week this time.
Oh, Merriman. Order the dog cart at once. Mr. Earnest has been suddenly called back to town. Just get him out.
Yes, sir.
What a dreadful liar you are, Jack. I haven't been called back to town at all.
Yes, you have.
I haven't heard anyone call me.
Your duty as a gentleman calls you back.
My duty as a gentleman has never once interfered with my pleasures in the smallest degree.
No, I can quite understand that.
That Cecily is darling.
You are not to talk of Miss Cardew like that. I don't like it.
Well, I don't like your clothes. You look perfectly ridiculous in them. It's very childish to be in deep mourning for a man who is staying in your house as a guest for a full week. I call it grotesque.
You are not staying in my house for a whole week as a guest or anything else. You had better leave by the 4:05 train.
Well, I certainly won't leave you so long as you're in mourning. It would be most unkind of me. I suppose you wouldn't leave me if I were in mourning. I would consider it very unfriendly. Well, will you go if I change my clothes? Yes, if you are not too long about it. I have never seen anyone take so long to dress with such little result.
Well, in any case, that is better than being constantly overdressed as you are.
If I'm ever a little overdressed, I make up for it by always being extremely overeducated.
Your vanity is ridiculous. Your conduct an outrage, and your presence in my garden absolutely absurd. Woo!
But you've got to get aboard my train.
And I hope you have a pleasant journey back to town. This bunburying, as you call it, has not been a great success for you.
I think that it has been a great success. I'm in love with Cecily, and that is everything, but I must go see her and make arrangements for another Bunbury. There she is.
Oh, I merely came back to water the flowers. I thought Uncle Jack was with you.
He's gone to order the dog cart for me.
Oh, is he going to take you for a nice drive?
I'm afraid he's going to send me away.
And have we got to part?
It's a very painful parting.
It It is always painful to part from people whom one has known for a brief space of time. The absence of old friends one can endure with equanimity, but even a momentary separation from anybody whom one has just been introduced is almost unbearable.
Thank you.
The dark heart is at the door, sir.
Oh, it can wait, Merriman, for 5 minutes.
Yes, sir, miss. Yes, miss.
Cecily, I shall not offend you if I state quite frankly and openly that you seem to me to be in every way the visual personification of absolute perfection.
Oh, I think your frankness does you great credit, Ernest. Oh, if you will allow me, I would like to copy your remarks into my diary.
You keep a diary? I would do anything to look at it, may I?
Oh, no! It is merely a very young girl's record of all her thoughts and impressions, only consequently meant for publication. When it appears in volume form, I do hope you'll order a copy. But pray, don't stop, Ernest. I delight in taking down from dictation. I have reached absolute perfection. You can go on, I'm quite ready for more. Don't cough, Ernest. When one is dictating, one must speak fluently and not cough. Besides, I don't know how to spell stuff.
Cecily, ever since I dared to look upon your wonderful and incomparable beauty, I have dared to love you wildly, passionately, devotedly, hopelessly.
I don't think you can tell me you love me wildly, passionately, devotedly, hopelessly. Hopelessly doesn't seem to make much sense, does it?
Cecily,
The dark heart is awaiting, sir.
tell it to come around next week at the same hour.
Yes, sir.
I think Uncle Jack will be very annoyed to know you're staying on until next week at the same hour.
I don't care about Jack. I don't care for anyone in the whole world but you. I love you, Cecily. You will marry me, won't you?
Oh, you silly boy! Of course! Why, we have been engaged for the last 3 months.
Huh? The last 3 months?
Yes, it will be... Yes, exactly 3 months on Thursday.
But how did we become engaged?
Well, when Uncle Jack first confessed to us that he had a younger brother who was very wicked and bad, you, of course, formed the chief topic of conversation between myself and Miss Prism. And, of course, any man who is much talked about is always very attractive. One feels there must be something in him after all. I dare say it was foolish of me, Ernest, but I fell in love with you.
Darling, but when was our engagement actually settled?
On the 14th of February last, worn out by your entire ignorance of my existence, I determined to end the matter one way or another. After a very long struggle with myself, I finally accepted you under this dear old tree here. The next day, I went and bought this ring in your name, and here's the banger with the true lover's knot I promised you always to wear.
Did I get this for you? It's very pretty, isn't it?
Yes, you've wonderfully good taste, Ernest. It's the excuse I've always given for your leading such a bad life. Oh, and here is the box with all your dear letters.
My letters? But my own sweet Cecily, I've never written you any letters.
You need hardly remind me of that, Ernest. I remember all too well, I was forced to write all your letters for you. I wrote to you always 3 times a week, sometimes oftener.
Might I read them?
Oh, no. They would make you far too conceited. The 3 you wrote me after our engagement was broken off are so beautiful. It's so badly spelled that even now I can hardly stand to read them without crying a little.
But was our engagement ever broken off?
Oh, yes. On the 22nd of last March. You can see the entry here if you would like. Today I've decided to break off my engagement with Earnest. I feel it is better to do so. The weather still continues charming.
But why did you break it off? What had I done? I had done nothing at all, Cecily. I am very much hurt to hear that sweet child. You don't mean to say that you couldn't love me if I had some other name.
But what other name?
Any name. Like Algernon, for instance.
I don't like the name of Algernon.
But my own dear, sweet, loving little darling, I really don't see why you should object to the name of Algernon. It's a rather aristocratic name. Why, half of the chaps on the bankruptcy boards in London are called Algernon. But seriously, Cecily, you don't mean to say that you couldn't love me if my name was Algie.
I might respect you, Ernest. I might admire your character, but I couldn't give you my undivided attention.
Cecily, I trust that your rector here is practiced in all the rites and ceremonials of the church.
Oh, yes. Dr. Chosable's a most learned man. He's never written a single book, so you can imagine how much he knows.
Cecily, I must see him at once about a most important christening. On most important business.
Oh.
I shall not be away for more than half an hour.
Considering we have been engaged for the last 3 months, and I'm only for the first time meeting you today, I think it really hard for you to leave for so long a period as half an hour. Couldn't you make it 20 minutes?
I shall be back in no time.
What an impetuous boy he is. Oh, I like his hair so much. I must enter his proposal into my diary.
Miss Fairfax has just called to see Mr. Worthing on very important business, Miss Fairfax states.
Is Mr. Worthing in his library?
Mr. Worthing went in the direction of the rectory some time ago.
Tell Miss Fairfax to come here. Uncle Jack is sure to be back soon. Oh, and you can bring tea.
Yes, miss.
Miss Fairfax? Surely one of the kind, elderly women associated with Uncle Jack and his philanthropic work in London. I don't quite like women who are interested in philanthropic work. It is very forward of them.
Miss Fairfax.
Pray let me introduce myself. My name is Cecily Cardew.
Cecily Cardew? What a very sweet name. Something tells me that we are going to be great friends. I like you already more than I can say. My first impressions of people are never wrong.
How nice of you to like me so much after we've known each other such a comparatively short amount of time. Pray sit down.
I may call you Cecily, may I not?
With pleasure.
And you will always call me Gwendolyn, won't you?
If you wish.
Then that is all quite settled, is it not?
I hope so.
Perhaps this might be a favourable opportunity for my mentioning who I am. My father is Lord Bracknell. You have never heard of Papa, I suppose?
I don't think so.
Outside the family circle, Papa, I am glad to say, is entirely unknown. I think that is quite as it should be. The home seems to me to be the proper sphere for the man. And certainly, once a man begins to neglect his domestic duties, he becomes painfully effeminate, does he not? And I don't like that. It makes men so very attractive. Certainly, Mamma, whose views on education are remarkably strict, has brought me up to be extremely short-sighted. It is a part of his system. So do you mind my looking at you through my glasses?
Oh, not at all, Gwendolyn. I'm quite fond of being looked at.
You are here on a short visit, I suppose.
Oh no, I live here.
Really? Your mother, no doubt, or some female relative of advanced years, resides here also?
Oh, I don't have a mother, nor in fact any relations.
Indeed.
My guardian, with the assistance of Miss Prism, has the arduous task of looking after me.
Your guardian?
Yes, I am Mr. Worthing's ward.
It is strange. He never mentioned to me that he had a ward. How secretive of him. He grows more interesting hourly. I am not sure, however, that the news inspires me with feelings of unmixed delight. I am very fond of you, Cecily. I have liked you ever since I met you. But I am bound to state that now that I know that you're Mr. Worthing's ward, examples of what I refer to. If it were not so, indeed, history would be quite unreadable.
I beg your pardon, Gwendolyn. Did you say Ernest?
Yes.
Oh, but it is not Mr. Earnest Worthing who is my guardian, but his brother, his elder brother.
Ernest never mentioned to me that he had a brother.
Oh, I'm sorry to say they have not been on very good terms for a long time.
Ah, that accounts for it. And now that I think of it, I have never heard of any man mention his brother. The subject seems distasteful to most men. Cecily, you have lifted a load from my mind. I was growing almost anxious. It would have been terrible if any cloud had come across a friendship like ours, would it not? Of course, you are quite sure that it is not Mr. Ernest Worthing who is your guardian?
Oh, quite sure. In fact, I'm going to be his.
I beg your pardon!
Oh, Gwendolyn, I don't see why I should make a secret of it to you. A little county paper is sure to chronicle the events of next week. Mr. Ernest Worthing and I are engaged to be married.
My darling Cecily, I feel there must be some slight error. Mr. Ernest Worthing is engaged to me. The announcement will appear in the Morning Post on Saturday at the latest.
There must be some misunderstanding, Miss Fairfax. You see, Ernest proposed to me exactly 10 minutes ago.
It is certainly very curious, for he asked me to be his wife yesterday afternoon at 5:30. If you would care to verify the incident, pray do so. I never travel without my diary. One should always have something sensational to read in the train. I am so sorry, dear Cecily, if it is any disappointment to you, but I'm afraid I have the quiet name.
It would distress me more than I can tell you, dearest Gwendolyn, if it were to cause you any physical or mental anguish, but I feel bound to point out that since Ernest proposed to you, he has clearly changed his mind.
If the poor fellow has been entrapped into any foolish promise, I shall consider it my duty to rescue him at once, and with a firm hand.
Whatever entanglement my poor boy may have gotten himself into, I will never reproach him with it after we are married.
Do you allude to me, Miss Cardew, as an entanglement? You are presumptuous. On an occasion of this kind, it becomes more than a moral duty to speak one's mind. It becomes a pleasure.
Do you suggest, Miss Fairfax, that I entrapped Ernest into such an engagement? How dare you! It is not the time to wear the shadow mask of madness. When I see a spade, I call it a spade.
I am glad to say, Miss Fairfax, Miss Cardew, that I have never seen a spade. It is obvious that our social spheres have been widely different.
Shall I lay tea here as usual, miss?
Yes, as usual.
Are there many interesting walks in the vicinity, Miss Cardew?
Yes, quite a few. From the top of one of the hills quite close by, you can see 5 counties.
5 counties? I don't think I should like that. I hate crowds.
I suppose that's why you live in town.
Quite a well-kept garden this is, Miss Cardew.
So glad you like it, Miss Fairfax.
I had no idea that there were any flowers in the country.
Flowers, Miss Fairfax, are as common here as people are in London.
Personally, I cannot understand how anybody manages to exist in the country. If anybody is, anybody does. The country always bores me to death.
I suppose that's what the newspapers call an agricultural depression, is it not? I believe the aristocracy are suffering very much from it at present. It is almost an epidemic amongst them, I am told. May I offer you some tea, Miss Fairfax?
Thank you.
Sugar?
No, thank you. Chocolate is not fashionable anymore.
Cake or bread and butter?
Bread and butter, please. Cake is rarely seen in the best houses nowadays.
No. Hand that to Miss Fairfax.
You have filled my tea with lots of sugar, and though I ask most distinctly for bread and butter, you have given me cake. I am known for the gentleness of my disposition and the extraordinary sweetness of my nature, but I warn you, Miss Cardew, you may go too far.
To save my poor, sweet, trusting boy from the machinations of any other girl, there are no lengths to which I will not go.
From the moment I met you, I distrusted you. I have found you are false and deceitful. I am never deceived in such matters. My first impressions of people are invariably right.
It seems to me, Miss Fairfax, that I am trespassing on your valuable time. No doubt you have many other calls of a similar character to make throughout the neighborhood.
Am I interrupting something? Should I come back?
My own Ernest!
Gwendolyn, darling.
May I ask if you are engaged to be married to this young lady?
To dear little Cecily, of course not. What could have put such an idea into your pretty little head?
Thank you, you may.
Oh, my dear Gwendolyn, I knew there must be some misunderstanding. You see, the gentleman whose arm is at present around your waist is my guardian, Mr. John Worthing.
I beg your pardon.
That is Uncle Jack.
Jack! No!
Here's Ernest.
My own
A
love.
moment. Please, are you engaged to be married to this young lady?
What young lady? Good heavens, Gwendolyn!
Yes! Oh, good heavens, Gwendolyn! I mean to Gwendolyn.
Of course not. Could put such an idea into your pretty little head.
Thank you, you may.
Well,
I felt there must be some slight error, Miss Cardew. The gentleman who is now embracing you is my cousin, Mr. Algernon Moncrief.
Algernon Moncrief!
Oh!
Are you called Algernon?
I cannot deny it.
Is your name really John?
I could deny it. I could deny anything if I liked. But my name is John. It has been John for years.
A gross deception has been practiced upon both of us. My poor wounded Cecily, my sweet rocket Gwendolyn.
You will call me sister, will you not?
But there is just one question I would like to be allowed to ask my guardian.
An admirable idea. Mr. Worthing, there is just one question I would like to be permitted to put to you. Where is your brother Ernest? We are both
is very painful for me to be forced to speak the truth. It is the first time in my life I've ever been reduced to such a painful position. I'm afraid I'm quite inexperienced in doing anything of the kind. However, I will tell you quite frankly that I have no brother, Ernest. I have no brother at all. I never had a brother, and I have not the smallest intention of ever having one in the future.
No brother at all.
None.
Had you never a brother of any kind?
Never. Not even of any kind.
I am afraid it is quite clear, Cecily, that neither of us is engaged to be married to anyone.
Oh, it is a very unpleasant position for a young girl to suddenly find herself in.
Let us go into the house. They will hardly venture to come after us there.
No. Men are so cowardly, aren't they?
This ghastly state of things is what you call bun burying, I suppose.
Yes. And a perfectly wonderful bunbury it is, too. The most wonderful bunbury I've ever had in my life.
You have no right whatsoever to bunbury here.
That is absurd. One has a right to bunbury wherever one chooses. Every serious bunburyist knows that.
Serious bunburyist? Good heavens!
One must be serious about something if one wants to have any amusement in life. I happen to be serious about bunburying. What you're serious about, I haven't the remotest idea. About everything, I should fancy. You have such an absolutely trivial nature.
Well, the only small satisfaction I've gotten out of this whole wretched business is that your friend Bunbury is quite exploded. You won't be able to run down to the country quite so often as you used to. And a very good thing, too.
Your brother's a little off-color, isn't he, Jack? You won't be able to disappear to London so frequently as your wicked custom was. Not a bad thing, either.
As for your conduct towards Miss Cardew, I think you're taking in a sweet, simple, innocent girl to be quite inexcusable. To say nothing of the fact that she is my ward.
And I can see no possible defense for your deceiving a brilliant, clever, thoroughly experienced lady like Miss Fairfax, to say nothing of the fact that she's my cousin.
I wanted to be engaged to Gwendolyn, that is all. I love her.
But I simply wanted to be engaged to Cecily. I adore her.
There's certainly no chance of you marrying Miss Cardew.
I don't see much likelihood, Jack, of you and Miss Fairfax being united.
Well, that is no business of yours.
If it was my business, I wouldn't talk about it. It is very vulgar to talk about one's business. Only people like stockbrokers do that, and then merely at dinner parties.
How you can sit there calmly eating muffins when we're in this horrible situation, I can't quite make out. You seem to me to be perfectly heartless.
Well, I can't eat muffins in an agitated manner. The butter would probably get on my calves. One must always eat muffins quite calmly, which is the only way to eat them.
I'd say it's perfectly heartless you're eating muffins at all, given the circumstances.
When I'm in trouble, eating is the only thing that consoles me. Indeed, when I'm in great trouble, that anyone who knows me intimately will tell you, I refuse everything except food and drink. I'm eating muffins at the present moment because I'm unhappy. Besides, I'm particularly fond of muffins.
That is no reason why you should eat them all in that greedy way.
I wish you would have tea cake. I don't like tea cake.
Good heavens, I suppose a man might be allowed to eat his own muffins in his own garden.
You just said it was perfectly heartless to eat muffins.
I said it was perfectly heartless of you. Given the circumstances, that is an entirely different thing.
Well, the muffins are the same.
Algy, I wish to goodness you would go.
You can't possibly ask me to go until I've had dinner. Nobody goes without dinner except vegetarians and people like that. Besides, I've just made arrangements with Dr. Choswell to be christened at 6:45 under the name of Earnest.
My dear fellow, the sooner you give up on that nonsense, the better. I made arrangements with Dr. Choswell this morning to be christened at 5:30, and I will naturally take the name Earnest. Gwendolyn would wish it. But we can't both be named Earnest, it's absurd. Besides, I have a perfect right to be christened if I like. There is no evidence to suggest I have ever been christened by anybody. I figure extremely likely I never was, and so does Dr. Troswell. It is entirely different in your case. You have already been christened.
I've not been christened for years.
Yes, but you have been christened. That's the important thing.
So I know my constitution can handle it. If you're not so sure, I think your venturing on it now is rather dangerous. After all, you can hardly forget that very recently, someone closely connected to you was very nearly carried off in Paris by a Soviet jail.
Yes, but you said a Soviet jail was not hereditary.
It used to be, but I dare say it is now. Science is always making wonderful improvements in things.
Oh, that's nonsense. You are always speaking nonsense.
Jack, you are at the muffins again. I wish you would leave them alone. There are only 2 of them left. And I already told you I was particularly fond of muffins.
But I hate tea cake.
Then why on earth do you allow it to be served up to your guests? What ideas you have about hospitality.
Algernon, I have asked you to go. I don't want you here. Why don't you go?
Because I haven't finished my tea yet. And there is still 1 muffin left.
It's good. Try it. Are you okay?
Oh,
It tastes wonderful, trust me. It tastes delightful. Then trust me, it tastes wonderful. Wait, be careful. Oh no.
you poisoned me with that thing!
Why?
Oh. I'm done for the night.
My friend, I really appreciate this time that we had together.
Oh, you too, darling.
I really appreciate you co-workers.
It's wonderful. Can you carry me home?
You'll have to carry your own bottle.
Fine.
Where's your cap? Where's the...
I have it.
And you need to carry mine.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh! I need another drink.
Oh, you're doing something.
Okay.
Carry.
Sorry.
Why is this so hard?
Sorry, I'm a little...
Bye, darling.
The fact that they did not follow us into the house at once, as anyone else would have done, seems to me to show that they have some sense of shame left. They have been eating muffins. That looks like repentance. They don't seem to notice us at all. Couldn't you cough? But I haven't got a cough. They're looking at us. What effrontery! Oh, they're approaching us very forward of them. Let us preserve a dignified silence. Certainly. It is the only thing to do now. This dignified silence seems to produce an unpleasant effect. A most distasteful one. But we will not be the first to speak. Certainly not. Mr. Worthing. There is just one question I would like to ask you. Much depends on your reply.
Oh, Gwendolyn, your common sense is invaluable. Mr. Moncrief, kindly answer me the following question. Why did you pretend to be my guardian's brother?
In order that I might have the opportunity of meeting you.
I am more than satisfied with Mr. Moncrief's explanation.
Yes, dear. If you can believe him.
I don't. But it doesn't take away from the beauty of his words.
True. I had forgotten. In matters of great importance, style, not sincerity, is the vital thing. Mr. Worthing, what explanation can you offer to me for pretending to have a brother? Was it in order that you might be able to come up to town as often as possible to see me?
Can you doubt it, Miss Fairfax?
I have the greatest doubts upon the subject. But I intend to crush them. This is not the moment for German skepticism. Their answers appear to be quite satisfactory, especially Mr. Worthing's. That seems to me to have a stamp of truth on it.
Oh, and I'm more than content with what Mr. Moncrief has said. His voice alone inspires one with absolute credulity.
Then you think we should forgive them?
Yes.
I mean, no! True! I have forgotten. In matters of grave importance, there are vital principles at stake that cannot be surrendered. Which of
Banbury Bracknell.
Gwendolyn, what does this mean?
Merely that I'm engaged to be married to Mr. Worthing, Mamma.
Come here. Sit down. Sit down immediately. Hesitation of any kind is a sign of mental decay in the young, of physical weakness in the old. Apprised, sir, of my daughter's sudden flight by her trusty maid, whose confidence I purchased by means of a small, very small coin. I followed her at once by a luggage train. Her unhappy father is, I am glad to say, under the impression that she is attending a more than usually lengthy lecture by the University Extension Scheme on the influence of a permanent income on thought. I do not propose to undeceive him. Indeed, I have never undeceived him on any subject. I would consider it wrong. But you must be very aware that all communication between yourself and my daughter must cease immediately from this moment. On this point, as indeed on all points, I am firm.
Ah, I am engaged to be married to Gwendolyn Lizzy.
You are nothing of the kind, sir! And now, as regards Algernon. Algernon!
Yes, Aunt Augusta.
May I ask if it is in this house that your invalid friend, Mr. Bunbury, resides?
Oh! No. Bunbury doesn't live here. Bunbury lives somewhere else at present. In fact, Bunbury is dead.
Dead! When did Mr. Bunbury die? His death must have been extremely sudden.
I killed Bunbury this afternoon. What? I mean, poor Mr. Bunbury. He died this afternoon.
What did he die of?
Bunbury? He was quite exploded.
Was he the victim of a revolutionary outrage? I was not aware that Mr. Bunbury was interested in social legislation. If so, he is well punished for his morbidity.
My dear Aunt Augusta, I mean that Bunbury was found out. That his doctors found out that he could not live, and that is what I mean, and so Bunbury died. Oh.
Well, he seems to have had great confidence in the opinion of his physicians. I am glad, however, that he made up his mind at the last to some definite course of action and acted under proper medical advice.
Miss Cardew is the granddaughter of the late Mr. Thomas Cardew of 149 Belgrave Square, SW, Jervis Park, Dorking, Surrey, in the Sporringfordshire, NB.
That seems not unsatisfactory. 3 addresses always inspire confidence, even in tradesmen. But what proof have I of their authenticity?
I have carefully preserved the court cards of the period. They are open to your inspection, Lady Bracknell.
I have known grave errors in that publication.
Miss Cardew's family solicitors are Messrs. Markby, and Markley.
Markby, and Markby! A firm of the very highest position in their profession. Indeed, I am to be told that one of the Mr. Markbys is occasionally to be seen at dinner parties. So far, I am satisfied.
How very kind of you, Lady Bracknell. I also have in my possession, you will be glad to hear, documents of Miss Cardew's birth, baptism, whooping cough, vaccination, registration, confirmation, and the measles, both the German and English variety.
Ah! A life crowded with incident, I see. Though perhaps somewhat too exciting for a young girl, I myself am not fond of premature experiences. Now, Gwendolyn, the time approaches for our departure. We haven't a moment to lose. Come on, dear. Oh, as a matter of form, Mr. Worthing, I'd better ask you if Miss Cardew has any little fortune.
Oh, about 130,000 pounds? That's all. Goodbye, Lady Bracknell. So nice to meet you.
A moment, Mr. Worthing.
Sweetest, prettiest girl about the world.
possibility of finding out each other's character before marriage, which I think is never advisable.
I beg your pardon for interrupting you, Lady Bracknell, but this engagement is quite out of the question. I am Miss Cardew's guardian, and she cannot marry without my consent until she is legally of age. That consent I absolutely decline to give.
Upon what grounds, may I ask? Algernon is an extremely, I may say, an ostentatiously eligible young man. He has nothing, but he looks everything. What more can one desire?
You're serious?
Yes.
It pains me to have to speak to you frankly, Lady Bracknell, about your nephew. But the fact is, I do not approve at all of his moral character. I suspect him of being untruthful.
Untruthful? My nephew Algernon? Impossible. He went to Oxford.
I'm afraid there can be no doubt about the matter. This afternoon, while I was away in London on an important question of romance, he obtained admission to my house under the false pretense of being my brother. Under an assumed name, he drank, I have just been informed by my butler, an entire pint bottle of my Perrier Jouet Brew 89, wine I was specially reserving for myself. Continuing his disgraceful deceit, he succeeded over the course of the afternoon in alienating the affections of my only ward. He subsequently stayed to tea and devoured every single novel. What makes his conduct all the more heartless is that he knows that I don't have a brother, that I never had a brother, and that I don't intend to have a brother, not even of any kind. I distinctly told him so myself yesterday afternoon.
Mr. Worthing, after careful consideration, I have decided entirely to overlook my nephew's conduct to you.
That is very generous of you, Lady Bracknell. My decision, however, is unalterable. I decline to give my consent.
Come over here, dear. How old are you, sweet child?
Well, I really am only 18, but I always say 20 when I go to evening parties.
Oh! You are quite right in making some slight alteration. Indeed, no woman should ever be truly accurate about her age. It looks so calculating. 18, but admitting to 20 at evening parties. Well, it will not be very long now until you are of age and free from the restraints of tutelage. So, I do not think your guardian's consent is, after all, a matter of any importance.
I beg your pardon for interrupting you again, Lady Bracknell, but it is only fair to say that according to her late grandfather's will, Miss Cardew does not come legally of age until she is 35.
That does not seem to me to be a great objection. 35 is a very attractive age. London society is full of women of the very highest birth who have an age of their own free choice. 35 for dabs. Lady Dappleton is an instance in point. To my own knowledge, she has been 35 ever since she arrived at the age of 40, which was many years ago now. I see no reason why our sweet little Cecily should not even be still more attractive at the age you mentioned than she is at present.
There will be a large accumulation of property. Oh, Algy, could you wait for me till I was 35?
Of course I could, Cecily. You know I could.
Yes, of course, I felt that instinctively. But I couldn't wait all that time. I hate waiting even 5 minutes for anybody. I am not punctual, I admit, but I admire punctuality in others, and waiting even to be married is simply out of the question.
Then what is to be done, Cecily?
I don't know, Mr. Moncrief.
My dear Mr. Worthing, as Miss Cardew states positively that she cannot wait till she is 35, a remark which I am bound to say seems to me to show a somewhat impatient nature.
But, my dear Lady Bracknell, the matter is entirely in your hands. The moment you consent to my engagement with Gwendolyn, I would gladly allow your nephew to form alliance with my ward.
Ha! You must be quite aware, sir, that what you propose is out of the question.
Then a passionate celibacy is all that any of us can look forward to.
That is not the destiny I propose for Gwendolyn. Algernon, of course, can decide for himself. Now, we have missed 5, if not 6 trains. To miss any more might expose us to comment on the platform.
Everything is quite ready for the christening.
The christenings! Sir! Is that not somewhat premature?
Both of these gentlemen have expressed a desire for immediate baptism.
What? At that age? The idea is grotesque and irreligious, Algernon! I forbid you to be baptized. I will not hear of such excesses. Lord Bracknell would be highly displeased if he learned that that was the way in which you wasted your time and money.
You mean to tell me then that there are to be no christenings at all this afternoon?
I'm afraid it will prove of little value to either of us at this point, Dr. Croswell.
I am grieved to hear such sentiments from you, Mr. Worthing. They savor of the heretical views of the Anabaptists, views I have completely refuted in 4 of my unpublished sermons. However, as your present mood seems to be one peculiarly secular, I shall return to the church at once. Indeed, I've just been informed that for the past hour and a half, Miss Prism has been waiting for me in the vestry.
Miss Prism! Did I hear you mention Miss Prism?
Ah, yes, Lady Bracknell, I'm on my way to join her.
Pray, allow me to detain you for a moment, sir. Is this Miss Prism a female of repellent aspect, remotely connected with education?
She is the most cultivated of ladies, the very picture of respectability.
It is obviously the same person.
Oh.
May I ask what position she holds in your household?
I am a celibate, madame.
Miss Prism, Lady Bracknell, has been for the last 3 years Miss Cardew's esteemed governess and valued companion.
Ah. Well, in spite of what I hear of her, I must see her at once. Let her be sent for.
Ah, she approaches. She's nigh.
I was told you expected me in the vestry, dear Canon. I've been waiting for you there for an hour and 3/4.
Prism! Come here, Prism! Prism! Where is that baby? 28 years ago, Prism, you left Lord Bracknell's house, number 104 Upper Grosvenor Street, in charge of a perambulator that contained a baby of the male sex. You never returned! A few weeks later, through the elaborate investigations of the Metropolitan Police, the perambulator was discovered standing by itself at midnight in a remote corner of Bayswater. It contained a manuscript of a 3-volume novel of more than usually revolting sentimentality. But the baby was not there. Prism, where is that baby?
Lady Bracknell, I think with shame that I do not know. I only wish that I did. The plain facts of the case are these. On the morning of the day you mention, a day that is forever branded in my memory, I prepared as usual to take the baby out in its perambulator tour. I had also with me a somewhat old but capacious handbag in which I intended to place a manuscript full of work of fiction that I had written during my few unoccupied hours. In a moment of mental abstraction for which I can never forgive myself, I deposited the manuscript in the bassinet and placed the baby in the handbag.
But where did you deposit the handbag?
Do not ask me, Mr. Worthing.
This is a matter of no small importance to me, Miss Prism. I insist on knowing where you deposited the handbag that contained that infant.
I left it in the cloakroom of one of the larger railway stations in London.
Which railway station?
Victoria, Brighton line.
I must retire to my room at once. Gwendolyn, wait here for me.
If you're not too long, I will wait here for you all my life.
What do you think this means, Lady Bracknell?
I dare not take this
Lady Brandon, I hate to seem inquisitive, but would you kindly inform me who I am?
I am afraid that the news I have to give you will not altogether please you. You are the son of my poor sister, Mrs. Moncrief, and consequently, Algernon's elder brother.
Algy's elder brother! Then I have a brother after all. I always had a brother. Cecily, how could you ever doubt that I had a brother? Dr. Chasuble, my unfortunate brother. Miss Prism, my unfortunate brother. Gwendolyn, my unfortunate brother. Algy, you young scoundrel, you had better treat me with more respect in the future. You have never acted like a brother to me in your whole life. Not till today, old boy, I admit, but I was out of practice.
I own. But what own are you? What is your Christian name now that you have become someone else?
Good heavens, I had almost forgotten that point. Your decision on the matter of my name is irrevocable, I suppose.
I never change, except my affections.
What a noble nature you have, Gwendolyn.
Then the matter had better be cleared up at once. Aunt Augusta, before I was placed in the handbag, had I been christened already?
Every luxury that money could buy, including christening, had been lavished on you by your fond and doting parents.
And I was christened after all. That settles it now. What name was I given? Tell me the worst.
Well, being the eldest, you were naturally christened after your father.
Yes, but what was my father's Christian name?
Matthew Bloom. Jacob Bloom. Casper Bloom. Jacob Bloom. Miles Bloom. Huh. I cannot at the present moment recall what his name was, but I have no doubt he had one. He was an eccentric, of course, I'll admit, but only in his later life, and that was the result of the Indian climate, and marriage, and indigestion, and other things of that kind.
Algy, can't you recollect our father's Christian name?
My dear boy, we were never even on speaking terms. He died before I was a year old.
Aunt Augusta. His name would surely appear in the army lists of the period, wouldn't they?
Well, the general was essentially a man of peace, except in his domestic life. But I have no doubt that his name would appear in any military directory.
The army registries of the last 40 years are here. Of this delightful record should have been my constant study. No. I have so many books. M. Gerald's. Malum, Maxbum, McKinich, what ghastly names they have. Magsby, Markby, Moncrief, Lieutenant, Colonel, General, 1849, Christian names. Earnest, John. Gwendolyn, I always told you my name was Earnest, didn't I? Well, it actually is Earnest. I mean, it naturally is Earnest.
Yes! Now I remember that the general was called Ernest. I always knew I had a particular
thing for a man to find out suddenly that all his life he's been speaking nothing but the truth. Can you forgive me?
I can, for I feel that you are sure to change.
When will my own one at last?
Cecily, at last!
Look this up!
Frederick at last!
Dear nephew, you seem to be displaying signs of triviality.
On the contrary, Aunt Augusta, I've realized for the first time in my life the vital importance of being earnest.